Well, hello everybody, and a very warm welcome if you are joining us today on the Recruitment CEO's Insider Guide podcast. And I am delighted to be here with my special guests today, and they are Lisa Johnson and Liz Harrison of Jarvis and Johnson. So welcome, ladies.
Hi there.
Brilliant. So would you mind telling our listeners, our viewers, a little bit about what you do and your business?
So Jarvis Johnson, we're 25 years old this year. I know we don't look old enough.
Not at all.
I set the business up 25 years ago, mainly because I'd worked in our niche industry, which is food manufacturing, for quite some time, sort of before setting up Jarvis Johnson. And, I'd enjoyed the recruitment process, but really felt that the agencies out there didn't really understand our sector. So we've worked hard over the last 25 years to sort of develop a niche, which is food manufacturing, it's technical quality and product development within that sector. So we've built it up to a team of 7, sort of some part-time, some full-time. And and then Liz joined us.
I joined 10 years ago. I'd previously been an account manager for Carlsberg. So come from within the industry, albeit slightly different side, but I'd worked very closely with the technical teams in the past, so I was able to bring that kind of knowledge with me to the business. So yeah, that was about 10 years ago now, and I'm now the recruitment manager for the business.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, brilliant, ladies. Thank you very much for that. So let's go back, because we were just saying, weren't we? Gosh, it's been like 9 months already. Tell us, if we went back in time to 9 months ago, tell us a little bit what was happening for you in the business, and why you looked outside of that to join a program or to get support.
Yeah, I think like a lot of recruitment businesses, we'd had a bumper year after COVID. I think in 2022 we had lots of jobs coming in. We were filling lots of jobs. Looking back, we were probably taking on too many jobs, but then we hit 2023, and suddenly, although we were getting a decent number of jobs in, we were finding it really hard to fill, and people weren't wanting to move around.
We were getting maybe kind of double the number of jobs in that we've maybe had this year, but they weren't necessarily the sort of jobs that we were wanting to work on, I don't think, looking back.
We were working on the wrong types of jobs. We were taking anything on. Candidates weren't wanting to move around. It was sort of very difficult to source good candidates. And I just think we felt we kept sort of trying lots of different things from our BD process, and sort of one-off little courses and things that we'd read, and we were sort of constantly seemed to be implementing different things, but it was a bit scattergun. And we just really felt that we wanted to find something that we could incorporate into the whole business and have a plan.
Something consistent and long-term as well, not just a quick, a one-off kind of quick fix, something that could become part of our business going forwards long-term.
We'd also had a higher than average sort of pull-out rate of candidates, so we were getting them all to the final stage, and then for whatever reason they weren't starting. And that's something that we'll talk about later that's definitely changed.
I think also we were just seeing, because of all those things, we were seeing a really inconsistent sort of cash flow. We were having one really good month and then a massive drop, and then we just really were trying to find something that just gives us that consistency of cash flow as well.
It was quite an anxious time, really, when you've got a head count and you've got that salary to pay every month. It's knowing that you've put something in place that's going to make that more consistent. And we'd come across Centred Excellence pre-COVID and had very nearly gone for the programme then. And then I think that was sort of during the Brexit and EU workers and everything, our business had completely changed. So we'd very nearly gone for it then. And it sort of popped up again in my in my LinkedIn or my Facebook feed, and we started re-engaging with you guys.
I think on a positive side, we were doing, we did feel like we're doing some things right. We've got a really great team, that we worked really hard to recruit. So we've got a really great team here. Our recruitment side, we've got some really good systems already in place. Or else we felt like we've got some really good systems already in place. And, doing things the right way. But obviously we're always open to learning. It was particularly the BD side that at that time we felt we really needed a lot of help with.
Great. So let's talk about the specifics of, what you've changed about your approach then since you've been on the programme.
Where to start, really? So,
Yeah.
so many things have changed. And I think we probably, when we looked at the process and we joined the foundation programme, we started off looking at mindset, looking at how we structure things within the business, who's working on what. And I think one of the key changes that we've made is around sort of team responsibilities and team structure. And the way that we have things structured now is that our clients are getting so much more focus. We're getting much more engagement with our clients. So every time we get a new role in, they have an initial meeting with myself or Liz, usually on Teams. Then we have a second meeting where the consultant is talking to the client specifically about the role. So, we assess whether it is a role we actually want to take on board, which is something completely different. We were pretty much, if they were in food, we were pretty much saying, yeah, we'll work on it. But now we know what roles work for us, what we can fill. So we're having those sort of 2 meetings before we ever take a job on Teams. We're having an update meeting after 14 days with the client. And all this is going on Teams. We're getting that face-to-face contact with the client. Before it was emails. Sometimes we just get a job spec emailed in and pretty much, we can work on that.
Just get straight on it. Yeah.
So it's the team are much closer to the client, and we know we've had feedback today actually from a client that it's making us stand out, isn't it?
Yeah, the client feedback was that compared to other recruiters, the processes that we're now using, it just shows we're providing them with insight, data, evidence, and support, really, because quite often they'll start off at a salary that is below where it needs to be, and not every recruiter will turn around and say the salary should be higher, or you're going to have, it's going to be trickier because of location, things like that. So we're providing them with support, with our knowledge, our expertise, our experience. We're making sure that they're being supported during the recruitment and before the recruitment process. So the clarify calls that Lisa and I do at the beginning with the client is to also, when a client sort of says what their salary is, or different elements of the job, maybe responsibilities, we talk about those, and we sort of talk about how we can move them to what is called a gold job in the ROCKIT programme, how we can push it up so it's something, even if it starts off as something we wouldn't necessarily work on initially, we're speaking to the client in such a way and giving them our advice and support that they say, I think actually you're right, we should be doing it at a higher side, and then it becomes a job that we would want to work on. So the relationship is just so much stronger with the client, and the feedback we had today was, it's making us stand out as recruiters versus other people they speak to, which is great.
Yeah, so that's sort of all on sort of client relationship. I think the other thing that's changed about the way we do things is the way that we look at KPIs. Liz, it was pretty much I needed a full-time Liz just to measure KPIs.
I'm a bit of a numbers person.
We were measuring everything. Now we measure a lot less, but it's meaningful. So every morning we have a quick Teams at 10-minute call with the team. They know what we're trying to achieve for the week, how far off we are from that.
We're not just kind of setting a target at the start of the year, it's a moving target. So as our fill rates improving or our percentage fees increasing, we can see that our target doesn't need to be fixed. It kind of can move dependent on what we're achieving at that time.
Yeah, so the KPIs, think, and then on the BD side, we have now a few different routes that we know that we can use to bring business in, and that's good. We're not reliant on one sort of form of BD. We've got different techniques that we've learnt within the ROCKIT programme, and the good thing is, because now the recruitment side is working so efficiently, Liz and I are both involved on the BD side. So we've got sort of cover for each other as well, which is great.
Yeah, and it's so true what you say, isn't it? Because I mean, I don't know about you ladies, but likewise, having been in recruitment for many years, I can remember that it was always about, you wouldn't say no to a job. It was, why would you turn a job away? And so there's an element where we think, well, we need to have lots of opportunity. We need to have lots of jobs, because if we've got lots of jobs, we've probably got a higher chance of making that revenue and placing them. But actually, when we start to look, as you were saying, at the quality of those jobs, because if we working, let's say, on 20 jobs, but of those 20 jobs, we don't have control over the client, or we don't have a confirmed process with the client, or it's not the right type of job or the right type of client, you can work as many jobs as you like, but it doesn't mean you're going to necessarily meet your revenue target. So you're talking about prioritizing and actually moving what could be, let's say, initially it might feel like, yes, it's a job, but it's not necessarily has the criteria we'd like for one that we know that we've got a high proportion of filling, is actually a process to actually move that into one of those priority jobs that you do have a higher percentage.
One of the big things we now think about when we're taking a job is, do we have the candidates to fill that job? And we really think about that now, because we have got a really good, strong database that we've built up over 25 years. And, we weren't necessarily leveraging that as well as we could have done at the beginning. Whereas now we really think about it. We think, where are most of our candidates? What kind of skills do our candidates have? Or if not, is there an outside source that we can use to find those candidates? So we're really thinking about that a lot more than we did before.
And we've actually allowed us to really cut back our expenditure on job boards, external CV databases, because actually we've realised that we have got everything that we need sort of within the business.
Yeah. I think what ROCKIT sort of did for us, I don't know if you're moving on to this question next, but we really gave us the chance to. When we first started, me and Lisa were working very much in the business. We were kind of day to day doing, being a recruitment consultant, being a BD, doing the financials, doing everything really on a day to day basis.
Data analyst,
everything. And it kind of got us to step back and look down on the business and really look at where our strengths are, where, what type of companies we should be working, analysing lots of information. And there were quite a lot of surprises, weren't there, during that process. But I think if we hadn't done ROCKIT, we would have just carried on as we were, sort of almost in a state of panic, always just trying to find how to find jobs, how to find candidates. Whereas this made us step back and look down and think, what are we really good at? Where should, what should we be marketing to clients? Which clients should we be approaching? How should we be dealing with clients? How should we be dealing with candidates? I think if we hadn't have done ROCKIT, we definitely wouldn't have, taken that big approach to it that we have done.
Definitely. Great. And so what you're seeing then is, like you're saying, it's a whole shift in terms of the process that you're using and the structure that you're using within the business. And then, as you say, how you're then looking to okay, as a business, how do we want to take on clients? It's all about quality over quantity. Who do we want to work with, and how do we want to work with them? Having that confidence as well, isn't it? That you can make those decisions.
I think ROCKIT gave us some confidence to make some big decisions and big changes. Even down to how we were working within the team, ideas that we'd had previously and thought that would be a better way of working. It just gave us that confidence that we were making the right decisions, and also having the coach Emily to support us. If we did get in a bit of a situation where we were like, should we be doing this? Is this something, to be able to talk that through with her and utilise her experience and expertise as well was really beneficial. So that was really good.
Yeah, and one of the things we realised quite early on is Emily got us to analyse, what jobs we'd worked on, what worked, what had been good to work on, what we would class as a good client. And when we look back over the last couple of years, so many of our clients have come from referrals, so we are doing we knew we were doing something right. People like working with us, and it was just sort of harnessing that and thinking, well, look, there's all those people that we've talked to over the years and sort of now using some of the processes within ROCKIT, we're making sure that we're staying in contact with those people, with our fan club. And yeah, but it was a bit of a shock, wasn't it? How much had actually come from a referral, either from a candidate we've placed, a client that had moved on to a new company. So I think, people have enjoyed working with us over the years, but we just haven't maintained those relationships in the way that, that we are now.
And I think some of the things are quite simple, but like I say, because we were so in the business, not sort of thinking outside of it and really looking at what we've done before, I don't think we'd have done it. We again, because we were so like embroiled in it, we didn't kind of like step back and look at things, and you think, oh yeah, if it's obvious that we were getting them from referrals and that you should be building relationships with people back on the back of that. But we weren't sort of looking at it in that way at the time.
And I think that's quite normal for a lot of people, isn't it? Because like you're saying, when you're in it. And so you're dealing with those day-to-day challenges that are coming up for you. And often you just don't have the space to remove yourself from that and to actually say, well, hold on a minute, let's take some time to bird's eye view, look down on the business, look at what's going on underneath the bonnet of it, lifting the lid on that. And it's a bit like if you've got a supercar, you have to service it. You've got to have a look at it, what's actually going on underneath, and taking the time to do that, but also having the right person with you to show you where it is you need to be looking.
And I think that's maybe what's quite different about ROCKIT from other programs or training that we've done in the past. It can sometimes feel a bit frustrating at the beginning because you're like, oh, I just want to get going with it. I want to start changing things. But actually, if you don't look at what you're doing now and what's working and what's happened in the past, how can you sort of move things in the right direction? So I think it was really useful that time at the beginning spent analysing what we were doing, what had worked. Because I know for each company that comes into ROCKIT, it can vary, what you focus on first and what's going to have the biggest effect first.
Yeah, I mean, coming into it, we would have said we would have said the thing that would have had the biggest impact for us would have been getting more jobs in the BD side. But actually, one of the biggest impacts for us initially has been recruitment, and I thought there wasn't a lot we could change on what we were doing on recruitment. But, having looked at the figures, we've moved things on so much through the programme and through getting these closer relationships, changing the team structure. That's enabled us to really move forwards with some of these key KPIs and measures that we've got, and get more placements. So
it goes back to, I think, what you were saying right at the beginning, which is, quite often you could think, well, I need to measure everything. I've got KPIs on everything because I need to know what's going on everywhere. And actually, there are some golden metrics that will fundamentally tell you exactly where it is that you need to sort of dive into to make the difference. And our magic profit levers that we talk about, and you ladies would have gone through that and used the calculator to see where those areas are. It really highlights them. Well, actually, maybe we don't need to fix everything here. What this is about is understanding what's going on underneath the bonnet. And then we just choose one or two areas and we make some often quite simple and easy tweaks to them. But like you're saying, the difference that has on your results is extraordinary. So let's talk about those things. What improvements have you seen? Yeah, what's happened?
Well, the first kind of thing that happened. Do you want to talk about anything non-numbersy before I dive into numbers?
No, dive into numbers. I can chip in afterwards. Gee, my numbers girl.
So, like in terms of key measurements, so we've halved the number of jobs that we're working on. So that's quite a big. It's a big leap of faith actually to sort of start saying no to things but it has worked, because what it's enabled us to do is because the team structure is so much better and they've got much better relationships with the clients as well, they can work the jobs that we're getting a lot better. So our fill rate's actually gone up incredibly from sort of 20% to 48%. So, the fill rate that we were doing, we were getting fewer placements, but working so many more jobs and wasting so much time on those jobs, putting so much effort into them and to not fill them. Whereas now our fill rate at 50%, and it's been consistently that this year. It's not, that isn't just like today. That's, you know, that's how it's been since sort of February time this year.
And that's all contingency, you know, we're not actually getting any retained at the moment. It's not something we've planned to go out there and get. We're getting a lot more roles exclusively. That's sort of something that we, you know, when we do that initial clarify with clients, because I think it demonstrates we know our sector, we tell them exactly what process we're going to go through. It has allowed us to you know, get that exclusivity, and where we get exclusivity, we've got 97% fill rate. So and that's often been with, you know, new clients coming in. With those new clients, we've upped our fee percentage. So you know, again, we're able to demonstrate that, you know, we're not just a run-of-the-mill agency, we're doing that bit more. So that's been a real positive.
We've also we've been able to, because of we use a recruitment project plan with clients, so we've all got sort of key timelines. We've got key timelines in place now, which we didn't have before. We've managed to shorten the length of time it is from us getting the job in to actually making the placement as well. So actually getting the offer and getting the started. So that's helping cash flow as well, because we're getting people started so much quicker. Again, we're at about 4 weeks from taking the job to getting the offer, which is much shorter than what we were doing before. So that's really positive as well for us.
Yeah, definitely. And as you say, those are sort of some of the highlights, aren't they, from a, if you like, figures point of view. What's changed for you ladies in your personal life? How has that improved? And for the team?
I think sort of one of the major changes, I mean, don't get me wrong, so it's hard work doing all this. It's not something that you could just come in and, oh, just send this magic thing and it'll all happen. It's taken a lot of effort from both of us. But now we're in a position where, so I had a 2-week holiday. I've been in Canada, I got back last week. I've not had a 2-week holiday for 15 years. And, you know, although sort of subconsciously I hadn't sort of said, oh, I can't have a 2-week holiday, but going away, I know that Liz is covering the BD while I'm away. The team know exactly what they're doing. You know, when Liz is away, she knows that things are happening with the team, because we've got these daily mini reviews. We know what's going on. So I think it makes us less anxious about the business when we're not in it. If you feel the same.
And it's given us more time to speak to people. So I've got more time to work with the team. I've got more time to speak to candidates and clients, and quite enjoying it actually. People that I've not spoke to for years, who are placed maybe in 2018 or something, you know, picking up the phone and having a chat with them, and they're now at new businesses, so there's new opportunities with them, you know, to speak to them about where they're working now. So you're sort of kind of getting more enjoyment from what you're doing as well, feeling a bit less stressed, although you don't get rid of the stress, but feeling a bit less stressed. And I think the being able to have a day off, because both Lisa and I work part-time anyway, so covering each other and being able to take a day off and not be worrying, oh, has that phone call happened, or has the BD come to a complete halt because I'm not there? You know, it's taken a lot of stress away for both of us.
And I think a lot of the sort of the personality profiling things we did at the beginning has just helped us understand each other as well, and how we work and why, you know.
So now if there's anything creative needs doing, I just throw it to Lisa, and if there's anything numbers needs doing, she just throws it back at me. So, but we know if we've got a project that we want to do, we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we are quite different, aren't we, in terms of our strengths and weaknesses. So it's really helpful to know that.
I think it probably removes a bit of the frustration in terms of realising not everybody works in the way that you work, and they're not being difficult because they're not doing it in the way you would normally. And it's helped us look at the team as well. We've not got into that really yet, so I know there's a lot more to come with looking at team interactions, but it has helped when we looked at how we structure the team, how we structure their work, you know, because not everybody is a seller, you know. But some people are just fantastic, you know, with those candidate relationships, so it's really helped us, you know, in that way.
Great. And it's like you say, when you know where your strengths are and you can put yourselves and your team in those flow areas, yeah, productivity does raise, doesn't it? Because you're really maximizing the individual skills, but also goes back to what you were saying about time to fill, or productivity, or efficiency with clients, because then the whole recruitment process is like a 10 out of 10 the whole time, rather than where you've got, let's say, somebody who's struggling with business development, but they might be good at other aspects. But they can't just get that process working. You know, they're almost, sometimes you're setting them up to fail, because they're never going to be good at that. So it's making sure that you're really utilizing every single individual and part of your business, isn't it? In that way.
And I think they feel empowered. They've got responsibility for particular clients, particular roles, and they're reporting on it each day. And so it's making them think about, well, you know, how am I going to fill this role? What can I do next? You know, rather than, you know, if we look 9 months ago, Liz was having to, you know, put a lot of input into every vacancy just to make sure it kept moving forward. So that's
does feel like when you're not there, the business is still running without you being there, kind of thing. You know, I mean, obviously you still need to input stuff, but it has taken a lot of that worry away. And the team seem happy as well, don't they? Just getting on with things a bit more as well than it was just more haphazard before, whereas now it's a lot more structured, so everybody knows what they're doing and we kind of know what everyone's doing. So it's, you know, and also coming out of COVID, working practices changed a bit. You know, we used to all be in the office all the time, and so become post-COVID, people work from home a lot more, and it really made us think about the communication we're having with the team as well, that we're not just sort of expecting people to catch up with us maybe once a week and just get on with things. We now have a Teams call at 10 every morning, and it's just nice to see everybody's faces, see how they're getting on, but also we can sort of see how, you know, if anyone needs any support or if anyone needs to help someone else in the team. You know, it's put a lot more structure around things in that way for us as well.
Yeah, and you can flag anything, can't you, a lot faster, but also, like you're saying, you're actually supporting people more in their day-to-day, so that, you know, you're not waiting to say, well, look, let's catch up at the end of the week, and then they're left.
Yeah, we're actioning things a lot quicker. So if something crops up in the business that we're like, oh, we need to sort that out by doing X, Y, Z. We used to have quarterly meetings, and we'd kind of try and do everything in these quarterly meetings and maybe little mini snippets in between. But now, because we're catching up every day and we have kind of a slightly bigger meeting on a Wednesday, we're covering all those things straight away. Everything gets done straight away, that we're not waiting for months for it to happen. It's happening straight away now.
Brilliant. Wonderful. And so, ladies, let's say somebody else listening to your this chat today, let's say they're thinking, oh, it sounds like something that I need, or maybe they're at the same situation that you were, you know, 9 months ago with those problems around their business. What advice would you give them?
So I would say, once you've made that decision, you need to make sure you've allocated some time and realize that it's going to take some time to implement these things. If you know, you can't just sort of come in and absorb everything and it's all going to happen. You need to set time aside to actually watch the material, have those meetings with your coach. And then what we did is we went away, we made our own sort of internal plan based on, you know, every process. That's going to work within our business. How are we going to implement it? We're going to test it, and then we're going to roll it out with the team. I mean, not that. I mean, one of the big mantras in the ROCKIT program was, you know, just do it. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Just do. What is it? Done's better than perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, but version 1 is better than version none.
Version 1, yeah. So, you know, just sort of, you know, be aware that you will need to set time aside to do that. So, you know, everybody else needs to know what they're doing while you're putting these things into your business.
But I think, like what we've been saying throughout, that it's just really valuable in terms of, you know, if you're feeling really stressed and everything's a bit haphazard and you're kind of in panic mode all the time, if you do this, you'll be able to take a more bird's eye view of what's going on, learn the strengths of yourself, your business, and then how to apply those. So, you know, it sounds perfect, doesn't it? But like Lisa says, it does take, it takes work. So you've got to be prepared to go for it if you do it. But the benefits are massive, you know, there's a huge benefit.
And we were warned at the beginning, there'll be some things that might feel a bit uncomfortable to start doing this. And there may be not loads, but one or two things that are now, it's part of a process and we don't even think about it. So yeah, I mean, it's just been very beneficial.
Great. Thank you both so much. Really enjoyed our conversation today. So thank you. And if you're listening, I hope you also walk away believing that you can do the same. You can do this. Anyone can do this. As you say, sometimes these things do need a little bit of input, but of course they do. If you want those kind of results, you've got to be prepared to put a little bit of that implementation into place. And that's what we're talking about here. It is simple systems, simple tactics that will grow your business with less stress and less work. So if you want those shifts in your business, if this is something that you would like to hear more about, you want the plan of how Lisa and Liz have got their business to this level, then you can click on the link below and we can show you the same process, how you can leverage your business with more opportunities and make more placements. So ladies, thank you so much for being here today. Really, really appreciate it. And we will see you all soon. So take care, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Bye.